You're welcome to my channel. This is Ozioma by Abejoye. Please, if this is your first time coming across my video, kindly like this video, share with your friends and family, like other videos that I have done, subscribe to my channel, and when you click on subscribe, you would see a bell button. Click on it and click on all so that you're able to get alerted of all my videos. Thank you. So today I'm going to be talking about Abejoye the movie. So I'm seeing this Abejoye the movie and I'm in season 5. And from there, I'm like, okay, there are a couple of things I have seen in this movie, and not like it's just particular to this Abejoye movie. I am a Mount Zion movies fan. I have watched their movies. I watch their movies. I am a big fan. And this is something I have noticed that they do in all their movies. But now that I'm watching Abejoye, I'm like, it really made me feel I should share this so that Christians are able to understand. You know, I'm a fan of loving African culture, you know, exploring diversity, because God cannot put on all that hard work to creating diversity, like creating different cultures and people, and we are only focused on living how the white people say we should live and forgetting about our own African culture and calling our culture fetish. You know, it doesn't make sense. I've noticed a couple of things, but I'm going to share only 2 that really stood out for me. The fact that they always represent Christ as an African, with an African man. They use pure African men wearing the agbada, the royal agbada, to show that Christ is royal, so he has to wear the agbada. So Christ is always represented as an African man, speaking pure, undiluted Yoruba language. And it's so beautiful. So now, a lot of us think that Christ is white. It doesn't make sense. So for me, the reason we see a lot of pictures and a lot of movies, Christ is white, is represented as a white guy, is because the people that started visuals before us, that's the white guys, they were doing these movies. And of course, if you're acting a movie, you cannot go and carry someone from another race to represent a character in your movie. So they started using themselves, of course, because it's just a movie, to represent Christ and angels and all of that. So now we started our own visuals. It only makes sense for us to use characters that we can relate to. So it doesn't mean that Christ is white. Now, Christ is not caught up, God is not caught up in time. So you can imagine God has been before he created us. So do you think he created himself to be white? And then he created human beings and now created this other race to represent himself? Like, it doesn't even make sense. All of us are made in the image of God. So God is not, you can't tag him to one thing. God is several things. God is diverse. It's just like when we say Lion of the tribe of Judah. It doesn't mean God is a lion. So our own human calculation, lion is the strongest animal, and we only feel we should liken him to the strongest animal that we know. Not that his strength is equal to that of a lion. He's definitely stronger than a lion because he created the lion. So God is thunder, God is light, God is everything you can imagine. So he is not one thing. So using a white man, even for Nigerians, Africans, using a white man to represent Christ and God and all that is funny, very funny. So I love the fact that Mount Zion movie people just do something the real way. They teach the Bible just as it is, and they are not deceived by the widespread gospel of inferiority. You know, because of the inferiority complex that we feel against ourselves over the white people, we feel they are the ones that God created and God left us behind. Like, it doesn't make sense. If you look at the whole repentance of Oloye Abejoye, you would see that when he gave his life to Christ, he didn't discard everything that has to do with him. He still bore Oloye, which is a chief. He did not change his name, Olainto Abejoye, to Michael David. Because some people, after baptism, even when he did his baptism, they will say baptismal name, they will look for one English name and give themselves. I can never understand it. Now, I was just on one side, I was just looking, I'm like, okay, let me see how this thing is going to go. You know, is he going to stop wearing all those his agbada? Is he going to stop wearing all those his kaftan, the African beads, the horse tail? Is he going to stop being a kingmaker? I saw that all those things, he kept on with all those things because that is our culture. It is just, these things are beauty materials, like all those beads and all that. And they are not fetish. So the white people have successfully made us believe that everything about us is fetish. And I won't blame them because they're not actually the ones that it's our stupidity that made us believe that. So, but you would see that even when this man gave his life to Christ, he was still referring to himself as a kingmaker. And at the point he stopped going to the palace, he only said he stopped going to the palace because they didn't believe what he now stands for. Meaning that he's not saying he's no longer a kingmaker, but now the difference is that he is able to attract and spread the gospel using his position as a kingmaker, and he's able to stop doing all those fetish things like rituals, killing people. That is what changed about him, and not that Christians cannot be kingmakers, cannot be politicians. Christians can be everywhere, even in the village kingmaking, even in the kingship. I say a lot of Christians say they cannot be kings. They cannot be kings in their village. You just feel like because you have become a white person by virtue of Christianity, likening Christianity to white people. Let me tell you that there is a study in Harvard University that argues that Christianity started from Africa. So what do you have to say about that? So I think it's just a case of ignorance that has made us forget about having sense and pushed us into doing things that don't make sense. Things that on a normal day, if you sit down and think about, you would see that it just doesn't make sense. We are just being practically foolish. And this also cuts across the whole, pastors trying to westernize the whole Christianity. A pastor, you see that a lot of pastors cannot do anything or come out in a formal way to say maybe for formal events without wearing suits. Suit is a white man's cultural attire. They made it because of their cold environment to suit the weather. Suits are not traditional pieces for Africans because this is a hot climate. It's just like saying Agbada is a cultural piece for the white people. It is not. Senator, it is our own, but we just call it senator. Do you understand? So, whilst I'm not saying cultural exchange is not good, adopt some cultures, but adapt it to the environment. You can't just pick a culture and just put it on the ground, boom, in another. Just like taking, let's say, when the Chinese came to take cotton from Africa. Supposing cotton doesn't grow in their own land. If they just took that cotton and put it on their ground, bam, it's not going to grow. But if you know that this cotton is not meant for here, you can now look for a way to, maybe certain things to do to your own soil, how to develop it, certain things to fix to it artificially to be able to help it grow cotton. So that's how to do it. You can't take another person's culture and you can't adapt it to the environment that you're putting it into. It's not going to work. So whilst I'm not saying, oh no, it's forbidden to wear suits. Yeah, yes, I know I encourage suits to be thrown away from Nigeria because I don't see any relevance of suits. So while I encourage that, I also know that it's not bad to say, okay, we can wear suits. It's not abolished. It's not a sin. But with caution, all these things are offices. In offices, they'll tell you must wear suits. You see people sweating up and down, even inside courtrooms, sweating up and down. In fact, this is a topic I'm going to actually visit because it doesn't make sense. I once told someone that when I have my own establishment, I'm going to turn everything around. From Monday to Thursday, you must wear your traditional piece. Then on Friday is a leisure day, we'll wear suits because suit is not a formal attire in Nigeria. It is not a cultural attire. So it's not formal. If I wear my cultural Igbo attire with my bead and tie wrapper and wear cap and come to office, what you told me in my employment letter is that you must dress formal. That is formal. What is formal? Formal is serious, corporate. So am I dressing like a joke if I wear my own cultural attire? I'm not dressing like a joke. For Nigerian and African culture, suit is a joke. So why are you forcing people inside your hot office to wear suits? Why are you doing that? Why? Don't let me get angry. After Abejoye gave his life to Christ and we moved back to Jibogun, I was looking at these people. I'm like, okay, now that they're showing us his house, he has all that African designs, lion skin, used to decorate the whole stuff. I was thinking they were going to discard of all those things and put the English style and all that, but they did not. The man was still his exact, undiluted, original Yoruba man. And, Christ is not against this. Christ created culture. What Christ doesn't encourage us to do is sin. And there is no way being a cultural man is a sin. Now, I know some people are going to say this cultural thing. Some people will always say there are bad African cultures. My sister, my brother. There are also, in fact, there are way worse bad cultures of the Western people than there are bad cultures of the African people. It's just that we are the ones that we don't like ourselves. So we always like to shine the torchlight on the wrong things. Now, every culture has their bad stuff. What you now have to do as a Christian is, whilst you are living your culture, you shine the light. Like Christianity is like a light. So you are able to discern, this one is not good. No, advocate against this thing so that it's stopped. Or no, I won't do this because it's sin. Not because, that you're telling me that everything about Africans is a sin. Let me tell you, white people, their own culture is liberal. And by being liberal, every single thing goes. When I mean every single thing goes for their own culture. And you cannot tell me that, okay, you would stop living. Okay, why are you not stopping behaving like them? Because there are also bad things embedded in their own culture. but it's African culture that you have to stop living because there are certain things. There is no culture that is lived by human beings that doesn't have sin. Yes, every culture has sin. So you now have to remove those sins. Look, I watch a lot of documentaries, Japan, Korea, US, and if you see this Liberia, even all these Asian countries, if you see the demonic cultures these people practice, you will be shocked. Those ones, they don't even reach African people. They know rich. Like, we know rich, rather. We know reach them. African people know reach their own culture. Our culture doesn't reach their own. But all of us, we will keep short because we don't read, we don't study. We will keep short about those ones, and we only talk about the African cultures, the ones that are bad. Not that we are talking because we want them to be stopped so that we will live our lives as Christians. It's not even as if most of these people that talk about these things are not even Christians. They are only being foolish because they are not speaking against these things so that these things are amended so that they will live the Christian life. They are living in sin. They are living in sin whilst living the Western culture, and yet they are telling us African culture is full of sin and fetish. Anyways, let me not go over and talk so much on this topic, but I just felt I should let you people know the two things that have really stood out for me so far in all Mount Zion movies, and especially this Abejoye movie, and I encourage all Christians to watch it. Thank you so much for being with me on this episode. And I'm going to come your way again with another interesting topic like we always do it. And please, subscribe to my channel. It is free of charge. Subscribe to it. And I promise to give you content undiluted, the ones that you're going to love. You're definitely going to love them. So subscribe. And refer me to your friends. You should subscribe to. And click on their bell notification buttons and click on all so that they get notified of all my videos. Bye.